Hello, my beautiful YouTube family. So something a little bit different today. As quite a lot of you reach out on Instagram to me and ask me a few questions, I had a question asked to me this week and it just gave me such an inspo that I wrote out so much stuff and I asked you how would you like me to share it, and you said YouTube, so here it is. I was going to change into actual proper clothes and then I thought, why? Because I'm in my apartment. This is how I am, freelance life, so this is how you're gonna get it. So the question I was asked was, how have I gotten to be so successful in doing what I love? And having to think about it, I think the major reason is getting to know myself and how I work, and that's a process that it's took me a year and a half while I go through the transition. I think it's essential that we're conscious in our own behaviour patterns and use them to our favour. So what we have to remember is when we're transitioning into turning our passion into our profession, is we're essentially shifting our whole lives from becoming a follower of someone else's path and someone else's dream to actually then taking our own road and our own path and making our own opportunities within it. So if you're anything like me and you've left a corporate job, a corporate career, you would have been used to working within a system. Now in this system, you're told when to go to work, what to do when you're at work, and it kind of there's so much set rules and regulations, right? So you're used to performing within this system, and I got to a point where I got in my job where I could have done it to my eyes closed, it was autopilot. And we have to remember that when we come out of that kind of system is we essentially switch to living in a creative process, right? So we've gone from being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it, into, okay, let's step into my own light, into my own creativity, and let's make something beautiful. Now, whether that beauty to you is making your own beauty brand, setting up your own recruitment business, maybe you're a scaffolder going freelancing, or any kind of freelance profession of any times. This creative process, the worst thing about it is the fact that it cannot be forced. It takes time to gradually build upon, right? And you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable. So you have to allow the idea, not even the idea, you have to know that some things, they may not work out. And you have to be ready to try, and then also be ready to fail. And the second part to this is the fact that we know we're very emotional beings. We're made up of 70 or 80% water. That means our mood will shift and go with the times. So it's very important to realize very early on that you will not be able to give 100% to your dreams 100% of the time. Now this is where the being in tune with how you work comes into play, because it's very important to be in tune with our processes, with how we best work, and also the rhythms that the body takes. So it's having a healthy relationship and finding a balance between productivity and work that's actually going towards our future, but then also having our rest and replenish, because when we're talking about this creative process, if you don't have the rest and the replenish and the space around you, you're not going to be able to implement ideas. It's like when you're working full max, and we've all been there, your brain is so involved in the task, it has no space to grow out of it, right? And for some of us, this balance is very structured, and this balance could mean, okay, we get up in the morning, we have a good few hours ticking off a to-do list, and that's your productivity. Now, I've had to accept that structure for me isn't a way that I work. So for me, I am very much all or nothing. So my process of creativity is I will have a day or 2 days where I am full of beans, full of life, and I'm hitting it hard. And I get probably about 4 days work done in 2. But then I know the next 2 days, when my energy is low, I literally, no matter how much I try and force myself, I cannot get any ideas out. And it's odd because today, this is it, I have all the time in the world, and the stuff that I need to do, my brain physically isn't there. So the next thing you have to learn when this happens is not to panic. So you have to trust the process with it, because I know that today no matter how much I try to put things on paper, it's not coming from the right spot. I'm not in flow, as I'd like to say. So this brings me on to being aware of where our brain goes when we do have those less than energetic and crappy days. So it's super hard, especially when you're the sole person earning the money. When your money and your life and your rent and your car depends on these things, it's important not to panic. So I know that the low days of motivation, when I first had them, once I'm sitting down, bring in the crappy thoughts. So bring in the guilt, saying, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. There is so much more productive things you could be doing. There's anxiety, where I think, oh my God, is this even going to work out? Like, who the hell am I to think I was going to do this anyway? And limiting beliefs. So that's the, I'm not good enough. I'm sitting here, I've got the world at my feet, and yet I physically cannot do something. So this is what I like to call the monkey brain. And the trick is not to listen to it. And our thought patterns are something that will always shift, right? They're just conditioned belief, maybe from the past, maybe for things that you're going through, but they always change. So kind of like a river that's passing through your head, try not to get sucked into the melodrama to all these things. Take your rest, and then the next day, once again, you might have positive thoughts. It's important to learn how to become an observer of these and not to take action and not to let the body get worked up by it. The last thing I want to highlight is where we're putting our self-worth and how we're measuring our success. So when you're coming into this kind of creative lifestyle that you're planning your own life, you are your own boss, it's important to realize that nothing is born overnight. And it's exactly the same with my success story, call it a success, like I'm still a human. I don't see it that way because it's a process and it takes a lot of trying and, to be honest, a lot of failing. So there will be things that don't go quite as right as you planned. There will be things that you might think is the most amazing idea, but maybe the world's not ready for it yet. And we need to stop putting our success and our self-worth into the numbers, right? We need to pull away from the fact that success is in how much money we earn, how many likes we get, how many followers we get, and move away from the numbers kind of aspect and see that kind of the process of learning and failing and trying as actually something that it's always given to us, right? We're always learning something out of it. Our self-worth, on the other hand, you need to hold it within you. It needs to be something internal. So rather than look to the outside world to validate who we are and whether we're a good person, look to the inside. So look at your inner circle. Your self-worth can be who you are as a person, as a partner, as a mom, a dad, wife, husband, a friend, but also place it in the fact that if you're coming down this path, your self-worth simply lies in the courage to try these things. Like to step out of a corporate job and to take your life into your own hands, that is worth so much more than, say, 10,000 followers on Instagram. Or, okay, I didn't make enough money as I expected from this course. Put your self-worth in a different place, and then even the creative process becomes so much more valuable to you. It becomes more enjoyable because you're not thinking, oh, well, it didn't go well because of this. You're just playing, you're trying. It gives you the openness to try and fail, and to be honest, it's more enjoyable because you let go of the expectations, you let go of it needing to come back to you in a certain way, and you just enjoy the process for what it is. So I think that is pretty much it for now. I do like answering these questions, even though it's took me a lot of like editing and stuff to do it. So if you like these, if you have another question that you want me to answer through my YouTube, then please hit the comments down below. And of course, if the inspiration strikes, I will talk to you. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know how I can help. Love you all and have a beautiful rest of the day. This is going to be my YouTube video. I'm probably not going to wear pajamas, but then again I might, so why not? Freelance life. freelance video, take fucking 2. With my pajamas, just sitting and chilling and talking to you guys. So the question I got asked was, how have you gotten to be so sexful? Oh Christ.